Why not? Thank you, Eileen. No, not right now. Thank you. I'm honored to be here. I'm grateful that Eileen invited me. I'm beginning to kind of wish I lived in Daly City. You guys are making me a little jealous here. But Alameda is beautiful. I chose a few poems, and I was just trying to remember, oh yeah. I'm going to read this one first. I have this awkward relationship with my culture, my origin. I'm half Japanese and half Scots-Irish. I didn't grow up with my Japanese relatives, and my father who's Japanese, he was sort of in denial of his heritage because he had come up during, the Second World War and had to make his way, and it was very difficult. And my mother's side was sort of evangelical Christians, and I couldn't quite relate to them either. So, what I was able to learn about my Japanese relatives a little later in life, and that was a good thing. So this is called Half Privileged. Half Japanese, half Scots-Irish, half upper middle class, Coca-Cola in the fridge, tempura or roast beef on the table, apple pie in the oven. Half neglected, garbanzo beans, olives or popcorn scavenged because my mother was too broke or broken to shop or cook. Half North Carolina demure, half California dissident, half exotic lily, half merchant marine pinup girl, half loved. Half privileged to go to college, get by, inherit enough for a condo down payment, half terrified of not being able to pay the mortgage, but making sure to buy 20 pairs of socks for my son so we wouldn't get the bleeding feet I had as a child because of the one pair of socks I wore all week. Half self-absorbed and self-indulgent, half plagued by madness, depression, and guilt, half nihilist, half optimist, half stubborn, half acquiescent, half brilliant, half broken, half penitent, half impudent, half teacher, half poet, half sinner, half seraphim, half you, half me, half otter, half tree, half salmon swimming out to sea. And then this is called Obsidian and Jasper. I wrote after the sort of bigger murder massacre of the Asian women in Atlanta. And there are so many more. And now we have the children today killed in Texas. So anyway, Obsidian and Jasper. Restless and troubled, the moon hisses and recoils above massacres hewn in the covenants of conquerors. See how she weeps in cudgeled acquiescence. Blood memories of man's hunger for yellow meat, how he anticipated this body, this flesh trophy, this bedpost notch. The merchant marine told me every ship was plastered with pinups of exotic Asian girls, half erotic invitations at every island port. They all look like you, he said. Now I am old enough to be disregarded, soon old enough to be knocked down, America, just another bone to chew on in this false vain and brutal mythology you spawned in your depraved necrophiliac splicing of all Asia, of all Africa, of all earthen-colored people. But we do not believe in pining and bleeding for the affection of our colonizers. We hold forth, hold on, hold out. When dismissed, when defiled, when attacked, we are not your fetishized, sexualized, femme fatales, no. We of Obsidian and Jasper are here to stay on this or any land that isn't yours, that you carved into profiteering parcels that we do not accede to. We are armed, cocked, loaded, and ready to rumble America, ready to protect, hold, cradle, and lullaby all who are persecuted for the color of their skin. Thank you. And then I wrote this just recently, sort of on the same topic. Kin. When I see the Korean, Chinese, Filipino faces of grandmas, aunties, and grandfathers, I see my own aunties, uncles, grandmother, cousins, and cry when they are felled by the hands of those who have no knowledge of who they are, who look in their eyes and don't see any connection to themselves. When I see this, I understand what my dark-skinned friends feel when they see their kin felled by the hands of white supremacists, cops, or brainwashed boys who are compelled to murder in a failed attempt to cool their molten hatred of other by extinguishing those whose lives represent some unnameable threat to their own. When I see them fall, I think of the forests in the Amazon and those who don't speak the language of trees, don't know their names, don't realize that they provide unconditional love in that they freely allow us all to breathe. If we imagine that breath is contingent on the breath of all beings, if we imagine that our bonds are luminous and infinite, we might be surprised to realize that we are all long lost kin. And one more on this same topic, but maybe a little lighter. Aliens. When you think about how the earth would be so much better off without us, you start to consider the possibility that we are the aliens. Maybe that is why the billionaires are planning to return to their home planets as soon as they have taken all they can. Maybe that is why we cannot seem to recognize or understand the brilliance of plants and other species. But the indigenous people did not harm the earth. Maybe they are the only ones who should be here. But we were all once indigenous, even if we are not where we started out. Maybe that is why non-native plants and animals always end up destroying the ecosystems. Maybe we should figure out where we come from, which tribe we belong to, so we can assimilate the ways of ancestors who knew how to live in communion with each other and the earth. Thank you. I want to read a poem about my Aunt Dora, who's passed now. I wrote this for her on her 75th birthday. And she was one of my aunties, my Japanese aunties that I was close to, but didn't really get to know her till I was in my 30s. Dora's Cup. This vessel emblazoned with iris, thistle, and twining leaf recounts all the mornings you have stopped mid-sip to remind yourself to shop for pork flank, shoyu, seaweed, rice vinegar, or the 5th ingredient for sushi. It contains your forbidden desires for chocolate truffles, reading a novel without rising to tidy or straighten, cook, or iron, as time dissolves more quickly than sugar in scalding tea. And it applauds your tender care of crocus, pansy, rose, and impatience, and even forgives your irritated shrug, your eyes cast to heaven with well-worn welcome to orphans who endlessly bloom at your door, on frosted or balmy Denver evenings, eyes bright with hope for a meal of careless trout or hapless turkey. Which is why, under penalty of law, this cup may not be lent, borrowed, or offered to anyone but yourself. For some things must be saved to honor the sacred within ourselves. Thank you. And I'm going to end with a song poem. I think it's a good day to sing this song. There is a Japanese fairy tale about a sparrow whose tongue was cut out by a woodcutter's jealous wife. So it's a little sad to start, but hang in there. It'll get better. It's called The Tongue-Cut Sparrow. A house sparrow billows her body with breath and surrenders rapture. A woodsman found her wounded, brought her home to convalesce. But his wife grew jealous of her song, and so cut out her tongue. We blaze a trail cut in tongues, broken with yearning for the sensate song of the wild. Wild desires plague our dreams, endless doors to claimless territories. The feral scent is keen upon us. We've lost our nature and have no way to follow. But because we are creatures of passion and promise, because we believe in the impossible, we barter. For the child the viper strikes out of an unrequited love of innocence. For Europa, whose honey scent betrayed her. For them who venture into Hades to unravel raptures of the deep in sweet, liquid lullaby. Saints and seraphim are tiresomely pious. They envy our sordid self-absorption, our tactile reality, our terrible desires. Love, Liebe, believe. In gods with feathers, fetlocks, and fins. Breathe sweet tobacco and answer the razor's keening by dancing with the sun in a stand of cottonwood to retrieve the sparrow's song. Wild desires plague our dreams, endless doors to claimless territories. The feral scent is keen upon us. We've lost our nature and have no way to follow. nature and must find a way to follow, to retrieve the sparrow.